Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, it's Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking Season 5, Episode 13, titled Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace, aired April 14th, 2008, and the synopsis is:
Brooke is visited by an adoption agency and has an interview to find out if she would be a suitable mother. Lucas flies out to see Lindsey, who says she will edit his novel. Dan bonds with Jamie at school. Nathan and Haley have a counseling session and decide to take up their hobbies of basketball and music again. Payne is visited by Max and still has feelings for Lucas. So we start off the episode pretty action and violently.
So I will say, I kind of wish we would have seen right when Dan walked in and everybody was staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we would have seen, starting with that point,
Right.
because my question is, how long was Dan standing in the house when everybody, remember, because at the end and even at the very beginning, they started of all the flashbacks, and it's him standing there, and they're each and every one of them are just like staring at him in shock. And it's like, so how long was Dan standing there before he then went outside? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine like walking in someone's house who hates you, and then like they just like stare at you, and then you just let yourself out again? Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of wish that we would have seen that transition of like, how long was he there? And like, when did he go, okay, time for me to leave?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. And how is it no one in there wanted to go after him right then and there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all just going to sit there or stand there and just look at you in shock. Like, I don't know. I just find that, especially this group, a little hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they had their moment of shock when they saw him, and then like, greeted Jamie home, and then maybe they went home right after that because Dan was there, and Haley and Nathan and Lucas stayed by. And
You think Dan was there the whole time?
Yeah, it had to be if they were punching him later. But Jamie must have explained that Carrie took him, because we didn't see that part either, like them finding out exactly what happened to him. So I wish you could have seen that.
Well, I don't understand it, because when Jamie walks in, he says, Grandpa Dan saved me.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go from Grandpa Dan saved me to coming outside and beating up Dan?
Yeah.
I don't get this at all. Like, your son, Nathan, your nephew, Lucas, said, Grandpa Dan saved me.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you need?
Yeah, maybe
to not go after him. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that would have been like, like, okay. And I'd probably say, then who took you? But like, it's weird how Jamie just told you he saved his life, and then you two are gonna go out there and try to fight Dan for what?
Yeah, maybe
for bringing him back safely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe Jamie didn't explain until after they punched him what happened to him. Maybe he just kept saying that Dan saved him and that was it, and they didn't believe him, maybe because he's little. But yeah, I don't know.
Because that's my whole thing is, Jamie just said he saved him, so why would you go after him?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, go after the person that kidnapped him.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like that at all. I'm like, he did save your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Your kid would be long gone by now in a different city, maybe out of the country. She was planning on going far with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if it wasn't for Dan, you would have no tracking of where he was.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like that either. Like, okay, I get like all the crap Dan has done, but he did save Jamie's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't like the treatment he was getting after.
Right.
You know, like ask a few more
Mhm.
questions before you just beat somebody up.
Mhm.
And also, you know what I did think was hilarious
Mm.
was again, Dan is unbeatable.
Oh,
Like
because he beat them.
Like here,
Hit them with them.
Nathan comes, or no, wasn't it Lucas first? Lucas comes out, like punches Nathan comes out, and it's like, and then they're both trying, and Dan is just like pushing them both out of the way, like, you know. And I'm just like, okay, the two of you couldn't even, with all of your anger that you have, you
Mhm.
couldn't even beat him up.
Yeah, I'm guessing he probably was working out a lot in the, in prison because he had the time. So.
Well, I get that Dan is obviously built bigger than those two.
Mhm.
Like Lucas is very slim. Think about it. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, no.
like compared to like Dan, like, you know, and
Mhm.
Nathan has the muscles, but
Mhm.
again, he's not built like Dan. So
Right.
I just thought it was hilarious that Dan was
Mhm.
like, you two thought that you could beat me up, but here I am.
Mhm.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. And then yeah, like I said, I wish we could have seen them like learn about Carrie, because I'm surprised no one like sent a cop or somebody after her, to find her for kidnapping.
Well, I feel like I would, like if it was my
Mhm.
kid,
Yeah.
I'd be like you know, Brooke, whoever, you guys stay with him.
Mhm.
I'm going on a hunt.
Yeah, because she couldn't have gone far after they left the motel. So.
Well, and if they would have, oh, I don't know, talked to Dan, maybe they'd have found out exactly where she was at,
Mhm.
because he did threaten her.
Yeah.
So he knew exactly where she was at. Like, I don't know, I just wish there was more communication, like Dan being
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm on your side. But I know they
Mhm.
wouldn't listen to him, but your kid is telling you, so it's a little weird.
Right. And then Jamie, coming up and telling Dan thank you. That was sweet.
I mean, think about it, Cynthia. Like, you have, you know, nieces and nephews, and so do I. Like, if somebody, like, if they tell you, you know, that person pushed me, you're going to be like, who? You know,
Mhm.
and you're going to listen to them.
Yeah.
Like, so to not listen to Jamie when he says it, it's like,
Mhm.
and Lucas already said, like, Dan is going to get to him. And he is. He's getting
Mhm.
to him, but he's getting to him like, look at me. I'm not so bad after all.
Mhm.
Not as in like, I'm gonna get you. And here's the thing, he had a very, like, you know, Lucas going off about to Nathan about like, oh, he's out now, so you know he's gonna go after Jamie. And it's like, here, here's a perfect example of he could have done anything to Jamie, right? Anything that a psychopath would do, right?
Mhm.
But he didn't. He saved it, he brought him home.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, I'm sorry, but I feel like most murderers would not do that.
Mhm.
You know, so for Lucas to just go off of like, oh, he's, you know, he's gonna go after Jamie, it's like, okay, but he could have, but he didn't.
Mhm. Mhm.
Why? Because he loves him so much.
Mhm. Yeah, especially
I
being a murder of a family member. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but I just don't get how, like, again, that was my other point too, was Lucas made it a big deal, right, to Nathan.
Mhm.
Did he harm him? No. Like, if the kid had any bruises, it was from Nanny Carey.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Because he would never harm a piece of hair on Jamie's head.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I didn't like Nathan and Lucas going after him.
Mhm.
You know, because again, he wouldn't be there that night home safe if it wasn't for Dan.
Right.
Because what was Nathan doing? I don't know, not trying to find his son. Like, he went home. That was my other thing, was Nathan Scott, right?
Mhm.
He's not out looking for his son.
Yeah, when he went into school and there's a shooter to get Haley.
Exactly. Like, my thing is, like, you have a house full of people, right? All of your friends and family.
Mhm.
Somebody could have stayed home, right?
Mhm.
In case he comes home.
Mhm.
Why aren't the rest of you out looking for him?
Right.
Like, maybe Karen and Lily could have stayed home because Lily, I'm sure, will have a bedtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Karen and Lily could stay home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of them could and should, I feel like, have been out looking for him. But the only one that did that was Dan. But again, Nathan, being the father, he's going to go home and wait for the cops to tell. What? I'm sorry, but if I had a kid and my kid was missing, I am not going to be staying home waiting for the cops to give me an update and, come and find. Like, even if I have to run on my feet, you know what I mean? Not even in a car. If I have to go barefoot, I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
It is your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And because Nathan is always so protective, why wasn't he so protective over Jamie at this point?
Yeah, I wouldn't even trust those cops either because they were so focused on wondering if he was drinking instead of listening to him about his son.
Yeah, he's like, I've been drinking. It's like, yeah. So again, I'd be out looking for him. Like, I don't understand this at all. A house full of grown adults are all gonna just hang out, eat the food, drink what's in the fridge, but not go on the streets looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't they say in the first, 48 hours, 24 hours,
Mm-hmm.
that's the time to look because, then they could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the percentage, obviously, every hour, every minute goes less and less. And so usually after the 48 hours, they say, there's the slim chance of finding them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my thing is every second counts and you're just gonna be home.
Right.
Like I get Haley because she was grieving,
Mm-hmm.
but Nathan should have been looking for him.
Right.
Skills, who felt really bad, should have been looking. That's my point too. I'm sorry, but if I was responsible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would be like the first person out looking for him because I'd have that guilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Skills has that guilt. Why wasn't he out looking for him?
Right.
Because wouldn't you want to be the one that brings him home?
Yeah, because he told, before he was born, he told Haley that he would have, the kids back. So
yeah,
he's not really taking action to that. Yeah.
No, he's just moping around.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to come home. Well, I don't see you mouth any of them looking for him. So I don't how's he supposed to come home if none of you are looking for him?
Right.
And the cops, like you said, didn't seem to care. So I don't understand this at all. Like why they would, I just didn't understand this whole thing of like a house full of people and no one's looking for him.
Yeah, because when one of my cats was missing, even my nephew went out to go find her. So
yeah, you guys weren't just like sitting home, being like, "It'll come back."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand either. Like this whole thing. I mean, and here's the thing. Like they said, like it. Okay, and here's the thing. They all also know how evil Dan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're so terrified that Dan took him, wouldn't you be looking for him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, yeah, you didn't know it was Nene Carey, but you thought it was Dan, somebody who murdered his own brother.
Yep.
So wouldn't you be out looking for him, making sure he doesn't harm him?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Because it wasn't just any abduction, which, I mean, technically they do say a lot of abductions
By family member?
are from some, like the abductor is somebody that they know.
Yeah, it's my own.
Yeah, so it's like, and obviously it was Nene Carey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they know what the child is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just didn't like that. None of them went looking for him, and they went after Dan. Like seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of, because of how that happened, from the staring to, the beating him up. I wish we would have seen in between, because I do wonder if Jamie said more information. I do wonder if Dan had said something. I kind of wish we would have seen something. Did Nathan say, get the, hell out of my house? I don't know. And I would have liked to see from that point of what happened.
Yeah, it's like they skipped a scene. Yeah.
And, a lot of times they like to, remember it was season 2 and 3, they would show you what happened. Remember when he had his heart attack, and then Deb came to save him.
Yeah, and they replayed it so many times.
And they had to replay it, and then they also played it off of that scene. And it was like, why couldn't we do it here?
Yeah.
They're all staring, so let's play it off this right here. I think that maybe would have helped the episode, I feel like. There wasn't much going on in the episode.
Well, it was the 100 episode, so I guess they would have had to film this next time. So maybe they couldn't do that because everybody couldn't be there for that longer than whatever it took to film this, like a week or whatever, or a few days. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because then Jamie comes running out, and of course, wants his grandpa. And Haley was being so weird again. Dan just said or Jamie just said he saved his life, and she's all, Jamie, like, don't go near him. And it's like, oh my God. Like, I was like eye rolling. I'm like, oh my God. Like, come on now. He did save his life.
Yeah.
I don't know. A thank you.
And then we go to Haley in therapy because she's talking with, her and Nathan, but we see Haley talking first until Nathan's revealed.
Yeah. And then it's 4 weeks later now.
Yeah. And, she's, of course, still having trouble, letting Jamie be too far away from her, like out of her sight. And, so she's saying she's being a little overprotective, but the therapist, acts protective or overprotective. And
I think in this day and age, you have to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just let your kids ride their bike down the street anymore. You can't, just let them walk to the bus stop. You have to actually be standing right next to them. And, like that kind of thing. This day and age, I think you definitely have to be in the lookout of what, like what they're doing, who they're with, all of that. So I don't really think it's being overprotected. I think that they weren't overprotect. Like, I don't think that they were. Okay, I don't want to say that they weren't protective over Jamie, because they were, but then again, they kind of weren't, because remember, he was playing by the pool, so
right.
So I don't know if that's really being protective.
Yeah, because shouldn't they have that like closed up at night or whatever, like covered or whatever, the pool?
No.
Oh.
No, but they should not have let Jamie outside without an adult being out there. Like, why he couldn't play in his room, I have no idea. Like, here's the thing. They have a big house. You mean to tell me the kid don't have like a playroom?
Right.
Like, it seems like he's always playing in his room, which is weird because they have a big house and they only have one kid. I would assume that they'd have a room for a playroom. Like, that's a big house.
Yeah, they just had to do that for drama, of course.
So that's why, I know they did it for that, but I'm just saying, like, you would have sent him to, play in the playroom or his bedroom, not outside, where he could fall in the pool. Because there's drownings every day. So I just didn't like that, because when she said that she was being overprotective, I'm like, but I really wouldn't say that you were being, I don't know, somewhat protective to begin with. Because remember, they also didn't realize he ran out in the street when Nanny and Carrie found him.
Yeah. And they were also fighting. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like, oh, I don't know, maybe you weren't really protective to start with. You kind of just let Jamie do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. So maybe now I would just call it protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because of what happened. Like, I would be that protective now without an abduction.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine how it would be if your kid was, and then they come home and you're like, okay, never again are you leaving the house. It's basically, I will say overprotective would be, what was her name? Abby. Her mom.
The shooting, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her mom.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was overprotective.
Right.
Because she wasn't letting her go to school.
Or speak.
Right. So to me, or leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was overprotective because she's not able to live her life.
Mm-hmm.
But Jamie is still able to go to school. He, in this episode, goes to Brooke's house. So it's not like he's not living his life and he can't do anything. So I would never say that it was overprotective. I would say she was being protective for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with Haley being a teacher, she could have easily homeschooled him, if she wanted to. So
yeah, but she's doing the right thing, still letting him go to school. And see, I would kind of feel like it would be how he is. Like, is he okay? What does he need, kind of?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he mentally okay to go to school?
Right. Yeah.
But he seems fine. He seemed fine last episode.
Right. Yeah, unless he's just, packing all of it away somewhere.
Well, but, he might have seen his parents' reaction too.
Mm-hmm. And then I wish we skipped another part, wish we could have seen again with Nathan moving back home.
I know. 4 weeks later, I'm like, oh, he's home. I know.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we have that conversation either of, I think you need to come home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the last we heard was Jamie saying, are you coming home? And he said, I hope so.
Right.
But there was no conversation of, I think you should come home and stay in the guest room. There was no talk at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was just apparently he's already home.
Yeah.
And so did he move home that night?
Maybe.
Yeah.
As a precaution, at least, in case Carrie came back around. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like that's my thing was he there starting that night? Because I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like there's no indication of time frame.
Yeah. And then, the therapist wants to talk to them as individuals and, what their passions are basically, like, who are they? But then we go to Brooke's house, where she's also being interviewed, but by an adoption agency. Yeah, so I'm not sure if this was like a good time because the last episode she said she wanted to
have a baby.
Yeah. So she didn't say adopt, so could have gone either way. But yeah, so I'm thinking this is kind of quick for her to get an interview like this. It seemed like the process was pretty quick, but again, it's a show, things have to go fast. But yeah, so I just thought this was impressive.
Oh yeah, because they have to first do the paperwork of even just applying. And then from there, kind of if you're kind of chosen, they would have to do an evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And it would take
classes.
And it would take months before you're even truly on the registry of possibly getting one.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't just happen.
It takes years. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the next day I'm gonna go get a,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess because it's been 4 weeks now because we did a jump. I guess we could say it's somewhat in line because it's been a month, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I still think too it's awfully soon, especially because like you said, she never really said it unless when she moved home a couple months ago, she applied.
Right, since she said this was the reason why she came back, yeah.
Right, so maybe when she moved home, she did it, and then it's been a couple months, so maybe it's lining up now. But I just wish we would have even heard that of even in the church. I wish she would have said a couple months ago, I
started looking into this.
Yeah, I started, the paperwork and process to, adopt a baby. Like, I wish we would have heard that, because then it would have made more sense in this episode of why and all the process.
Right. Yeah, so Brooke, did all her research about women adopting and, trying to tell the interviewer about this stuff, but she keeps interrupting her. And, just asking the simple questions like, does she have a house? And is she sexually active? And Brooke tries to make a joke, but it's not funny for the interviewer.
Well, she was trying to make a joke with like everything. And I get she was like nervous, but I was like, this isn't working well.
Right.
Because even at the beginning, when she was like, she has a fashion line called Clothes Over Rose, and she said it's boy friendly. It's like, why say anything? Just say you have a fashion line. Like, why you got to go that far of like making somewhat of a joke out of it and all this? I'm like, it ain't going well for you.
I think she was trying to make her sound like she wasn't just like leaning more toward girls, because women and girls like clothes more than, boys and men. So maybe she was trying to make herself sound better, like she's inclusive to every gender, to adopt.
Well, but the name is Clothes Over Bros. So I think that's why she was trying.
Yeah.
But also, she's not making clothes for boys.
Right. Yeah.
It's only for women.
Yeah. And I can't think of anything that she's ever made for the boys ever.
Except for when she has her own line, Baker Boys.
Yeah. And then she just made that jacket for Jamie for his race car. But that was it pretty much.
Yeah, otherwise it's always been for women. And she only did, I guess she did Haley's wedding dress, but she's only done wedding dresses for family and friends.
And Lindsey, yeah.
Yeah, that she's never done them for like regular people.
I wonder if she gave that back to Brooke too. I just thought of that. Yeah.
I wonder if she ever paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, she should have, at least by the wedding day. Yeah.
At least the material.
Yeah, because I don't think Brooke, I can also see Brooke giving her the dress for free. She shouldn't, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, she was given every other dress that was expensive for free.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah, gave that dress to Haley and everything. Yeah, and then
and Peyton.
And
then she told what's her face, Millie, you don't have to pay for that. It's like, oh my God, let somebody pay for something.
And then yeah, so she has all her info to be looked at, but the interviewer, interrupts her again by asking if she drinks because she knows it's the bar. So that's when Brooke kind of throws Peyton under the bus, saying that she's having a hard time because the love of her life, not the love of her life, but the boy she loves almost married somebody else,
Oh, you know what I thought was funny? Was about Peyton. She goes, she can move out.
Yeah. That's why I said throw under the bus. Like, just, I'll get rid of her. I have to,
It was hilarious. I was like, oh. But I will say, Brooke has the money to get her an apartment or her own house. I will say she does that, because it's not like, Cynthia, you need to move out. And then you're like, well, I don't have like the money to buy a place. No, Brooke does. So she wouldn't be actually like living on the street or anything where we'd feel sorry for her. She would have her own place.
Yeah. And then in Payne's office, she's reminiscing about the times, her mom used to sing to her, and that's why she used to kind of reach out to music after she passed to kind of get that feeling again.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In this scene, who in the hell is she talking to?
Max. Yeah, when I read Max, I'm like, who's Max? But it was the record owner after.
No, she goes and tries to see him at the record, but then he comes up and shows up at her work. But in this scene, he's not in it. It's just her talking. And I was like, who is she talking to?
Okay, yeah, I can't remember.
Because he doesn't show up till later when they talk. But I'm like, who is she talking to here? Herself?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe herself. I don't know. And then we do a lot of segues too when they're talking, because she said it's just silence, and then we go to Andy asking Lucas if he hears the silence, where they are in the boat.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was happy to see Andy back.
Yeah, too bad we didn't see Karen though.
Yeah, we saw Lily though.
Yeah, so I guess I just couldn't have her for another episode. But yeah, so Andy's been trying to help Lucas, kind of get over Lindsey, or at least decide what he really wants. So I guess he was able just to leave too, like coaching for this long too, which was surprising.
I mean,
Or
maybe he took leave.
yeah, I guess Skills. I mean, technically, yeah, Skills is the other coach, so he could, yeah, took
Well,
over. But,
and Nathan has been somewhat helping, so
yeah, it's just surprising that he could leave that long at least. But
or maybe it's like a One Tree Hill thing, and something bad happened, so we're not going to ever play games, and then all of a sudden we come back. It's like how the One Tree Hill world works, even though that's not how real life would work. It still continues.
mm-hmm. And then back in therapy, Nathan says he wants his family back, and he wants Haley to trust him again.
Well, maybe you should have done what you did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And he just wants her to look at him the way that she used to, and see a better man.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Nathan. In order for her to look at you like that, right? You have to, I don't know, change. I get that he was, on the process of it. But she needed to see like a stable, like longer of a change than just, overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were actually working on it. Because they had cute moments before that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, why is he kind of erasing all of the cute little moments that they did have?
Right.
Because she did look at him that way, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when she was putting all of his things back and then they kissed and it was cute? Mm-hmm. What was that?
Right.
This is what I mean. Why is Nathan rewriting it as if Haley has just been like, you're so awful?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are you on something? And think about it. Remember, she was kind of like giving him that look when she was like at the bar that night,
mm-hmm.
Before Nana Carey ruined it all. When she was saying like she was so happy because Jamie was, out of the house. Mm-hmm. It's like, what was that? Nothing? Like, oh, I'm sorry. To me, that sounded like she wanted you, but, I guess that's just me. It's like she has given you signals in this season.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
I don't know why Nathan is trying to act like, oh, this is just her fault because I just want her to see me like that. It's like, but she did see you like that. And you still chose to flirt with somebody else in the meantime of your wife actually liking you again for what you, being an ass for 4 months. It's like she was taking you back for, and starting to truly have interest in you. But then you went on and instead disregarded her and, I don't know, started liking the nanny. It's like, right. I'm sorry, Nathan, but that's why I just didn't like this part, because he's trying to blame her. But at the same time, who's the one that flirted and, did that with the nanny?
Mm-hmm.
You. So, but again, I could see if she was a total, like a total bitch or something up until this point where she's like even when he was being nice and changing, and she was like, I still don't like you.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. Like, remember, even when it was Peyton was over and her and Haley were eating and snacking and Nathan was in the pool. Like, mm-hmm. They were still good times. I don't know. She never was like, ugh, like even when he was in the pool. It's like, Nathan, what are you talking about?
I think just from this point on, like not before, he's talking about like right now, after everything that happened the last month. Yeah. She hasn't him like that again.
So you're thinking that he's talking about in the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Oh.
Since everything fell apart, yeah.
Okay, but if it comes out that your spouse, you saw them in the shower together, I'm sorry, but it's going to be in my head for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take some time to get over.
Yeah.
If at all.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, he should just be happy she let him move back in.
Yeah, because if he forces her too much, then she'll just lose it,
Yeah.
She'll lose that love for him.
Yeah, so I just didn't like this because I'm like, what are you on? Like, are you on? Like, seriously, is he on something that he is literally blaming her that she's the reason that he did this?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
I don't like it.
Yeah. But, but Haley says she wants to believe in Nathan again, and the goodness in people. And, just her son to be safe, of course, and wants that greatness to be seen, appreciated.
But I did notice she didn't say happy.
Yeah. Maybe she can't see that yet. That's fine.
No. When she's
Oh,
talking
Jamie
about her
being happy.
son, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
She
yeah.
says she wants him to be great or something, but she's
Yeah, and
never
safe,
said
yeah.
happy.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, I'm sorry, but being safe and happy to me is number one.
Mm-hmm.
But she never said it. She said like his greatness. And I'm like, okay, that sounds a little like Dan. When Dan's like, you need to be great and you need to show it. And where, I don't know, being happy should be number one because Dan put a lot of pressure on Nathan to no longer be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that what we're rewriting? I mean, so I was like, and happy? Like literally when she was talking and I'm like, and happy? No, not happy? Okay.
Yeah. And then, Brooke saying in her interview what she wants, to have a family, to use her success to help a child who never had a chance. She wants to be a mom and she's ready. And then we go back to Peyton that, she says she wants to believe in it all again, the music and art, fate and love. And, wants to believe that she's made the right choices and that she's on the right path and still time to fix her mistakes and just wants Hope and Lucas. And then that's when Lucas says he wants Lindsey. And
so annoying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been a whole month and he's still gonna keep yapping about her.
Yeah, and he doesn't really say if there's been a lot of communication between them since then, because it doesn't seem like there has been.
Well, no, especially at the end. Lindsay's like shocked to see him, so no,
Yeah.
I don't think they've communicated.
Yeah, even about his book, yeah.
And I think that's what's weird is it's been a whole month, right where her office is in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you go fly out there?
Yeah,
it's weird. I'm sorry, but if it's the love of your life, the one you want, why wouldn't you?
Right.
It's awful. I think he's just wanting to be at home for the whole month to sit there and be all bummed out and blame everybody else and not acknowledge his true feelings for somebody else.
Maybe, yeah.
Because think about it again. If it's truly who you want, wouldn't you do it right then and there?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you fly out the night? Like once you know Jamie is good, wouldn't you fly out?
Right, yeah.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's weird to me is he's acting as if she had moved away and didn't tell him where she went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could like Keith and whatever her name was, Jules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Keith tried to find her.
Yeah, Lucas is acting the same as he did when she ran out of the church. Yep, just same where he is.
Yeah, it's like again, he could have ran after her, but no, I'm gonna sit here and pout. It does get old, Lucas.
Yep.
And especially to watch it, like, ugh.
Yeah, but he still says that he wants to go back to when they were happy and, life had a meaning and purpose and direction.
So annoying.
Mm-hmm. And then Andy has a way he can get all that,
But I'm sorry, but I thought that your life only had meaning when it was Peyton.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know that yet. Apparently.
Yes, he does. I think that he does. He's just dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, it's just kind of hard to believe that anybody could just
be that dumb.
Yeah, just block that completely out, that he can't even see it himself.
But he does. He did the same thing with Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing the same thing with Lindsey of like, she's the one. But then he's doing stuff for Peyton. Exactly what he did with Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't help himself, apparently.
Yeah. And then, Peyton goes to the same record store. Maybe we were seeing a flash forward when she was talking in her office before she went to the store. It'd be weird, but I don't know. But anyways, she goes to the music store to see that it's completely empty, and she leaves a note for the owner and then gets into her car that has a for sale sign on it.
Yep, so, I was like, wow, so so Lucas really isn't changing his life, but Peyton is.
Yeah, so do you think she's selling the car because she thinks it's her car's fault that Lindsey and Lucas didn't get married, or
maybe she thinks that it has too much ties maybe to Lucas. Because she says, I want him to be happy, but I guess that's her way of like, okay, well, he can't write another book about it, right? Even though he still can't, even if it's gone.
Yeah.
He can still write a book about it.
Because she doesn't need the money necessarily, so yeah.
Well, yeah, because she just made all kinds of money from Mia's deal.
But then Rachel took it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that she had money that she was giving back to Brooke. Well, I'm sure she kept some money for herself.
Yeah.
That she didn't take.
Oh yeah. Rachel took Brooke's half.
She only took. Yeah, she took Brooke's.
Yeah. And then Brooke's asking what the interviewer is writing down because she's still nervous about what's going on.
You can't ask what are you writing down.
Right. Yeah. And then her phone keeps going off too during the interview.
Why would she even have it near her?
Yeah, or turn it off. Yeah.
Like, go put it in your bedroom or something.
And then Brooke tells the interviewer that she feels like she's being judged, but she kind of is.
Yeah, she's in an interview for a baby. Yeah.
But the interviewer says she's being evaluated, and just checking everything. And Brooke asks if it takes very long. So the interviewer says no. By the end of it, she'll know. So yeah, this is a very quick process. And Brooke asks how she's doing. The interviewer says she wants to talk about Brooke's past, and just instead of answering her question. But then we segue to Nathan saying his problems with his past are of his own doing.
So I will say, I did like when he said, I'm stubborn and I have a temper and I don't always make the best decisions. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, check, and check.
Yeah. And then the therapist brings up about being close to the NBA, and she actively thinks about it much.
Yeah, and he says sometimes, but okay, but here's the thing. It's like, whose fault was this? I'm sorry, I can't feel bad for you if you were that close and you did it to yourself.
Yeah, and he basically says he can go past the school, the gym, and still hear the echoes, and he was like kind of shocked that he never told her that.
Oh, he probably told Nanny Carey.
Yeah.
They talked a lot.
And he just says it's not something he's proud of, and he's not good with being vulnerable.
But yet he is when it comes to Haley, because he's always said the person that he's the most vulnerable is Haley. So it's weird when he says like, he doesn't like to be. It's like, yeah, but you are usually with Haley. And then that's when he says that there was the first time when he was vulnerable. When he took the drugs and everything, and he went to Haley, and she forgave him, and so he says that's the moment that he fell in love with her, and I was like, okay. I don't know if it was or not, but okay.
Yeah, so he just saying that Haley was a girl that could see all past his mistakes, and maybe sometimes he screws up because he wants to feel that again.
So you flirt with a nanny because you want Haley to love you?
Right, yeah, I didn't like that.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
That just seems like he's doing it to get attention or something, yeah.
Well, and how's that going to make your marriage better? Because here's the thing. Does he really not understand? Like, think about it. When he messed up and shaved those points and it came out, Haley was on his side like nobody. And it was like remember, she got her speech taken away, and I was so upset that she was such like she wasn't caring at all about what was taken from her, even though her husband did it to himself. And she was so on his side, and all she wanted was for him to have his dream. And it was like, and so for him to be like, I just want to see, like, I mess up because I want her. It's like, oh my God. Like, that's so selfish.
Yeah.
Because all she's ever done is take you back. time and time again. And it's like, but I'm sorry, that is different than actually flirting with somebody else and cheating. Flirting equals cheating.
Yeah.
And that's crossing a line in my book.
Right.
So if you want to flirt with somebody else, that ain't going to get my attention. You know what it's going to do? Here's the divorce papers. Because you clearly like somebody else more than me.
Right.
That's how I would take it.
And, you know, Nathan feels like that sounds pretty broken. And then we segue to Andy telling Lucas he's not broken. And then he brings up, you know, the time about him and Karen and him going to New Zealand.
Yeah, he said it was the hardest thing to do. So he said that, obviously he said, you know, there was a place in her heart that, you know, he would never occupy, obviously, Keith. But he said that, if all she said was, what was it, that she missed him in something, that he would just...
Yeah, I love you, I miss you, and I need to be with you.
Yeah, that he would take her back. And I'm like, huh? So basically that's all she said? That's I'm sorry, but that's a little, I feel like, far-fetched. You broke up with her because you knew there was somebody else. And yet you said all you needed to hear was those words. What? Yeah. Like, does that make any sense to you? Because when he left, she said, I love you. Do you remember that? And he said, it's not good enough or something. And it's like, okay. And so now he's saying, you know, that's all she had to say. And it's like, but wouldn't that other person, even if she had said that, wouldn't that other person still be in your relationship? Because her heart would not be fully with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you're contradicting what you have already previously said and done. You left the country to get away from her. Basically. All for you to now say, it's all she had to say. That don't make any sense, especially because you said there was somebody else. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so Lucas tells Andy, like, it's not that easy, but Andy says it is. Lindsey just needs to be convinced that he loves her.
Do you know what I also find weird? Is that a month later, Lucas is still with Andy and they're just now having these conversations?
Right, I guess because he figured Lucas would get over Lindsey, and since he hasn't, then he's, you know, bringing it up now. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you, after a week, you'd be like, okay, listen, I can't deal with you any longer. All you do is mope around. So we need to have a talk. I wouldn't think like 4 or 5 weeks later, we're going to still be talking about, like, we're going to just now talk about it.
Right.
And all I know is Andy really has a lot of patience because he's dealing with Lucas.
Yeah, and then he brings up the fact that he has, you know, private jet and New York isn't that far from them. And Lucas does say that he did try to call Lindsey, but she doesn't want to talk to him.
So there's your answer.
But then Andy asks him if there's been a day that, you know, that he hasn't thought about her or wanted her back, and Lucas says no.
Annoying.
Of course. Yeah. And Andy says then he owes it to himself to tell her that, and he owes it to Lindsey too. And, you know, over time, not knowing is way worse than to know. And then we segue to Haley saying, no, she thinks not knowing is the hardest part. Not knowing what their marriage means to Nathan, you know, if he still wants the things that she does.
Oh, and then it was funny because she said, if he finds me sexy, if he still wants me. And that's when he goes, how could you not know that? And she's like, Carrie.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I know. I was like, really, Nathan? Are you on something? Because again, have you said any thing nice to her lately? No. So you've been saying those nice things to Carrie. Remember, it wasn't like the one episode he told her she looked nice or something, and I was like, huh? Like, just not really something you would say to your nanny. So yeah, I was like, are you on something? Like, of course she's going to wonder if you still even want to be married to her. It's really weird.
Yeah. So, you know, she asks Nathan, why didn't he tell her about the flirting? And he says, no, he doesn't know.
He liked it. Yeah, he liked it.
She said he needed it. Yeah. like that was an excuse to let it happen.
Yeah.
And
Stupid.
Haley is like, no, sorry, I can't flirt with you after a long day at work, parenting their son.
She wasn't really parenting her son. Nana Carey was.
Right, yeah. And he says, because she doesn't look at him like that anymore, and he gets it. He hasn't been worthy of that look for a long time.
But that's what I mean is there was that look. So I know he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. And then the therapist asks Nathan when was the last time he felt like a sense of accomplishment. And that's when he says, when he played basketball. And, she mentions the support of his father. And, he says again, that only happened with basketball. And
I thought it was weird when he said that. Like the last time he was worthy was basketball because I don't know, what did your son be like when he was born?
mm-hmm.
Like that'd have been my answer.
Uh-huh.
My child.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my child looks at me and looks up to me as Jamie does,
Mm-hmm.
that to me makes me feel worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basketball.
Yeah.
Like, really? Again,
Yes.
basketball can be taken from you, but you know what won't be? Your son, unless you choose that.
Mm-hmm. And then the therapist had said that it wasn't unusual or crazy to for that phrase in a duration from basketball go to something else. Not that this was the best thing, but so Haley says, does she need to start swimming naked for her husband's ego now? Nathan tells her she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was weird because the therapist is like, why not? And it's like Haley has never been that person, so that's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then then she said, like, you guys are 22, and I'm like, so? Like, if you've never been that person, it doesn't mean you're going to start being. Just because he was flirting with a nanny because she did that? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she's just trying to have them try something new and have fun together. Yeah.
All they got to do is get rid of the nanny.
Yeah, but
And,
they reconnect by doing something kiddish.
I don't know, just spend some time together.
Yeah, that's what they haven't been doing, so she's trying to give them ideas.
Well, they ain't got to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, could have been something else. But Haley says that
Like, go to dinner. They haven't done that either. They're living
mm-hmm.
in the house separately, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she asked when was the last time they did something young and foolish together, and Haley says, they've been married for almost 6 years, and they have a son.
Which is okay. She said nearly 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
I mean, they were 16, right? And they're 22 now.
Yeah, but she said nearly, like it's not 6 years yet.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. And then she said we have a son who's almost 5, which again I told you was weird because he was born at the end of it was just weird. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Haley doesn't feel like they're essentially young because of all that, but the therapist says, they are. And she has to remind them of that. So then Payne's hanging out, artwork in her office, and that's when Max shows up. And yeah, obviously they could have used somebody else for Haley to talk to.
You mean Peyton?
Oh, what I said Haley, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant Payne. But they could have had Brooke. I mean, she's busy with the interview with me, that's right. But still, somebody, her dad.
Skills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mouth even, yeah, somebody. Maybe Millie, even though they haven't really talked a lot one-on-one, but yeah. So she's just like Andy, she's just kind of venting how she feels still about Lucas, but wants giving space, of course, like making the sacrifice, being, the bigger person that she should be. And then Dan is meeting with his parole officer, so they're having interviews kind of. And he's given him the rundown of the rules, not allowed to leave the state without notifying him.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really realize that they get paid.
Right. I mean, I guess they do, but I didn't think it was that much. I mean, it's not that much either, but you know what I mean.
It shouldn't be that much. Sheesh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for 5 years, 3,000, that seems
a lot.
This was also 20 years ago.
I don't care. Too. It feels like a lot.
Mm. Yeah.
It's like, I work every day. It's like, okay, $3,000. That's a lot.
I mean, for 5 years,
But Cynthia, he's in prison
hmm
for murdering someone. I don't feel like he should get freedom.
Right, yeah.
He should be locked up for good.
Yeah, I guess that's Nathan's fault since he visited him. Seems like that they judged it on just that alone, but yeah. And then, has to get a job, all that.
It was funny. It was funny when he shows him Jamie and he says, then he tells the case manager, like, you have kids? And he goes, this isn't The View.
Right.
It was funny. So, well, you know what I did realize this whole episode? I didn't see Dan sign because he said, count your money, sign here that you received it. And basically go be on your way. And I'm like, this whole episode, I did not see Dan sign it.
Right, yeah, he didn't, yeah.
Because eventually so Dan actually then legally could come back and say, I never got my money.
Yeah, that was funny too. It's about the job. Like he acts, so running from there doesn't, count, try to make light of that. But, Dan just goes on and on about Jamie, of course, and just, wants the small talk. And he tries to give him the money for the small talk, but he doesn't take it because, of course, it's illegal. And then he has to make the joke too that crime doesn't pay when he gets the money, and when he does get the money. And then that's when he talks about the time he talked to Jamie through the fence at his school playground. So that must have happened, between sometime after he saved Jamie and now.
And I thought it was funny when Jamie's like, can you really go to jail for not cleaning your room? And he goes, no, but the guy next to me got 10 years for not eating his peas. And then Jamie goes, I don't believe you. It was funny.
Yeah. And then he says too, he's not allowed outside the fence. And Dan's like, I know what that feels like. Yeah.
But then he said that he did tell him that Lucas is gone. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan reassures him that he'll be back. And he asks how his parents are doing.
He says that his dad is mostly sleeping on the couch again.
Yep.
But it's weird because in this episode, Nathan says Jamie could sleep with him in the spare room. So I'm like, how's he sleeping on the couch then?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that he went from couch to bed, but yeah, they didn't really tell the difference between that. Yeah,
they didn't really write.
Yeah.
They didn't really write that right.
Yeah, maybe they just weren't paying attention. They, think of it. And then Dan tells Jamie he misses him, and Jamie says he misses him too. And then Dan, talking too much like Skills, said that he better leave or else he's going to start looking pervy. So Jamie asks, what's pervy? And he says nothing else to worry about and just tells him to go back and go play. We'll see him later. And then it tells him that it's their secret. So once again,
don't tell anybody.
Yeah, which isn't good. Yeah, red flag there. Carry behavior. And then Dan then threatens a little boy that's nearby to not mess with Jamie or he'll answer to him. Another 4-year-old boy.
Yep. Threatens somebody.
Yep, and to pass it around to the other kids. Yep. And I guess it didn't last long either because the boy does eventually start picking on Jamie too. But
he does.
Then Chuck.
That's not Chuck.
No, it's not Chuck. I mean, talk about later, like down the line.
Yeah, like he never passed it on.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like because Jamie's should be like what, in preschool or maybe even almost kindergarten.
Preschool.
Yeah, so I don't know if they like the next year if we that happens. I think maybe that's why it's kind of not passed around anymore. But then back to the therapy session. The therapist brings up basketball, and Nathan never described himself as a basketball player, and he says that's because he's not anymore, and I get that.
Yeah, and she's like, why not? He talked about his spine getting crushed. And then that's when she said, so the doctor said you couldn't play anymore. And he's like, there's no such thing as, definitely, definitely or never. But it's like, he says, people don't come back from that. And she goes, you're Nathan Scott. He goes, I'm not that Nathan Scott. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then
she brings up Haley, not referring to herself as a musician. I'm like, well, why would she?
Right.
And here's where we hear it. That Haley has not played since she went on tour with Chris. So again, when Peyton said she had like a worldwide tour and all this, I'm like, that wasn't even her tour. Because remember, we said maybe she could have toured when she was in college, but clearly not, because here she talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
That it nearly broke them up. Well, it did break them up.
Yeah, so and Haley says too, like she had a son to raise and she hasn't found an attractive nanny yet, so that's why she hasn't done anything with music.
That was funny.
Yeah, that did make everybody laugh. And yeah, so the therapist just tells them maybe they aren't the people they fell in love with because neither of them is trying to be the people they fell in love with.
They're just, honestly, these two are just trying to get through the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, even if it's not for something like this, people change anyhow, so they're not really necessarily always going to be the people they fell in love with, in the first place either. So,
well, especially because they were 16.
mm-hmm.
By 26, you could have totally different interests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then back to Brooke's interview. The interviewer asks Brooke if she thinks she's ready to be a mother, and Brooke says, she does. Because, all a child needs is love to succeed from a parent who can provide a stable and caring environment, and she can do that. And then the interviewer asks Brooke if she had that, and she says no. And then, then she asks Brooke if she'll ever get married, and Brooke says she doesn't know. Maybe she met the right person.
Oh, so this is weird because she said, but you haven't met the right person yet. And I was like, she's only 22, as you had said. Like, if she's only 22, what do you mean yet? Like, she's 22.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what? Like, there are people that don't find their person until they're in the 30s. So, or 40s. So I'm like, what do you mean? She's only 22. Like, she's just starting out her life.
Right.
And she's already supposed to have met the right person.
Mm-hmm. And then she brings up Owen, the bartender, and Brooke corrects her, the bar manager.
Yeah. Then she says Chase and Lucas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
this is weird and crossing, boundaries. Because if they did like a background check on her, they shouldn't have probably been able to bring them up. But then we go back to Payne and Max, and she's basically asking about the store, and then makes the whole obviously that everybody's finding their music online, which is still very true today. But people have kind of gone back to physical media or music, a little bit. Like even the 8-track cassette tapes have come back,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, I did buy one myself, but it's more of a collector's item, so they're not, necessarily used, but yeah, so it's there, but people still buy it or stream it now. So either way, it's mostly still on, on your device of some kind, yeah. But yeah, so just gonna skip him because he's really an unnecessary character anyhow. But he did ask about if she thinks about Lucas much.
Yeah,
and,
she said every day.
Yeah, and that was kind of out of nowhere too, because they're just talking about
music.
Yeah. So that was creepy. And then we go back to Brooke's interview.
And so I did like how she said, I don't understand what Lucas has to do with my decision to adopt. And then that's when she brings up Peyton. You said Peyton was a mess because he was marrying someone else. And it all comes back to the fact that Victoria talked to the adoption agency lady.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
All to ruin it. But again, what you did in high school, should that really count? Like who you dated? Should that really count who you are in your 20s?
No.
No. So if she dated Lucas and Chase and stuff, yeah, she did. But like she said, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and then the interviewer like accuses Brooke of trying to adopt because she couldn't,
because Lucas is moving on.
Yeah, find romantic love, yeah.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
And then Brooke, that's when we learned that Brooke's been thinking about this and she moved back to Tree Hill.
Yeah. And then she said that most women have their first child at 25. And I'm like, okay, so being 22 is worse. Like, what is she trying to prove then?
That she's not.
Like it's yeah, but isn't it worse to say that? when you're younger than the age that people are having kids.
Yeah, but she's still an adult, so I wouldn't think too much of it. Yeah.
She is, but she's getting like ridiculed by this lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then she brings up that Brooks ever used drugs, and then that's when, Rachel comes into the situation as well. And of course, because Victoria told her everything.
Yeah, and she said, I would never let my child do drugs.
Mm-hmm. And brings up the time that she shoplifted from the store as well. So I'm surprised Victoria even knew about that. But yeah, so just telling her every little thing that could make Brooke look bad as an adoptive mother, yeah. And
but I'm sorry, if somebody's talking this negatively about their child, wouldn't you question the parent?
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know, when she was doing all this in high school, who was watching her?
Mm-hmm.
Like who was parenting her? That would be like my question is, so ma'am, were you around for all this? Like, how did you parent her? How did you punish her? Did she ever get punished? Like I'd have questions for Victoria if it was me.
Yeah, like about the shoplifting, like what she did, did she make Brooke pay the spur back, or, like what happened, just more details.
Yeah, I mean, how did you parent her? And it would have come out that she wasn't around.
Yeah. And then we go back to Andy asking because if he's ever spoken to Peyton, since the wedding. He says no, because with Jamie missing, had to go with Dan, and then they, left in the boat. And Andy brings up the book and the whole comment business.
That was hilarious. And he's like, so Peyton drives a freaking Comet. And then I did think it was funny because Andy goes, he said, so what does Lindsey drive? But I will say, Lucas's comment was funny because he said, thank God the book didn't say a white Bronco. They'd say I was in love with OJ.
Right, yeah.
That was funny. But I will say, he didn't really have a good answer about the whole Lindsey's, what she drives, because he goes, that's not fair. It's like, but then why did you write about a comet? Couldn't you write anything else?
Yeah.
A star, anything.
And then we segue to Brooke saying, it's not fair that she spoke to her mother. And the interviewer says they always speak with applicants' families. And Brooke says, she understands, but her mother, would tell her that she was like
how did they even get Victoria's contact information? I don't think Brooke would leave it to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Background check, maybe, possibly, if they found it through there.
Because think about on an application, I highly doubt she put Victoria Davis.
Yeah, maybe they they close over bros and they know about Victoria being CEO as her mother, so maybe they just connected dots that way. I don't know. Yeah.
Because Victoria always says, "Don't say I'm your mother." So.
And then so she tells that her mother was let go from the company if she was really talking to her, but the interviewer says she did tell her that, and then brings up she has to be busy with that, in the absence of her CEO. And Brooks is not that busy. But then her phone, vibrates again, making it 3 times now that we've seen.
Yeah, and she said your phone keeps going off.
Yeah. And she's kept track 17 calls now, and Brooks, saying that they were just emails, mostly. But the interviewer says that most people take off 6 months of work to smooth the transition for the new children. Do you think that's true? Because that sounds like a long time without working to provide for the child. I don't know. And it's just much easier in a 2-parent household, which they usually probably would say that anyhow. But
they always say they look for 2-parent households.
Yeah. And Brooke asked her if she was from a 2-parent household. So the woman says that her parents divorced when she was 12.
Yeah, and then she asked she said, what about you? And she said, the answer, but she goes, I came from a no-parent household. I like that she said that.
Yeah, and then most people she knows that are really great are from single-parent households too. Yeah. And she just said her parents cared about other things than her.
Yeah, and that's true.
And that just made her learn what parent she doesn't want to be. Yeah. And then we segue to Haley saying she didn't want to be an absentee parent.
Well, then why did you go and help Peyton with her label instead of watching not watching, but taking care of your son,
Mm-hmm.
and left him with the nanny.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you don't want to be
Mhm.
absentee parent, but yet you were,
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't. When you came home, that's when Jamie was going to bed. Like, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. And then the therapist says, about what are their passions, dreams, and maybe if they spent more time being selfish, 22-year-olds, they might love themselves a bit more and resent each other less.
Okay, I get that whole part, but my whole thing is you have to be a parent. And when you have a child, that child comes first. And so, like I said about Haley, it's one thing to want to help Peyton with her label, but it cannot interfere with Jamie. And so you can't be gone every night. Yes, you can do it here and there, like spend a couple hours at the label here and there, but
Mhm.
not constantly, and not be gone all the time. Like, you can't do that. That's being selfish. And so
Right.
so for the therapist to say, like, you guys can be selfish. No, you can't. Not when you have a kid. I'm sorry, but you can't. Your kid comes first. If your hobby interferes with your
Mhm.
child
Yeah.
and your child's needs, which is having the parents around, then you shouldn't be doing it. I'm sorry. I don't
Mhm.
care. I don't care that you're 22. It's not my fault that you had a kid young.
Mhm.
And so I did not like what the therapist said.
Mhm.
Of, go ahead and do it. Okay, so then you will be the absentee parent. Good job, therapist.
And Nathan says he doesn't resent Haley or Jamie. They're the best things that's ever happened to him.
Yeah,
And
I did find it funny when Haley said, "Yeah, we're the best things ever happened to him," which
yeah.
is true.
And then the therapist brings up music to Haley about being in front of the crowd and that rush and energy. And
Yeah,
yeah.
this is where she talks about she's not avoiding it now because of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think she might be.
Mm-hmm.
I think she feels like she got to kind of live out her dream a little bit, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
something she never really ever talked about until one episode, and then all of a sudden now she was a singer. But anyway, but she never really thought that she would be,
Mm-hmm.
like a singer or anything. Like, it was never in her head like it was for Nathan in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for her, she's like, hey, I got to live out my hobby. And Nathan didn't and needed to. So I think in her head, it was like, okay, I got to do it. Your turn.
Right.
And he never really got to the NBA, obviously. So maybe that was a part of it, of like, I got to do mine, so he should get to do his. But,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that she should just quit because of it.
Mm-hmm.
There just has to be boundaries in your marriage of like, who are you letting in?
Mm-hmm. And then the therapist says leaving Jamie out of it, like, what were the best days? And
Which
Haley
is,
says, yeah, she
I'm,
wasn't proud of herself, but
I'm sorry, but I still feel like your best day should probably, your response should probably
mm-hmm.
be each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like the therapist said, leave Jamie out of it. Well, should probably be each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, your hobby changes, and you could, not be able to sing anymore or play basketball. So then what are you left with? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you're left with each other. So I feel like the answer should be each other. Like, my best day was with him.
Mm-hmm.
My best day was with her.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from their kid, like, it's like when you ask a couple, they're like, oh, my wedding day or the day we've met. It's like, yeah, aside from your kids, what was your best day? And the answer should be each other, not basketball or
Mm-hmm.
singing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, remember when she came home, she said, oh, this doesn't mean anything without you.
Right.
So the answer would be Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like that comment at all. Did you?
No. But yeah, they both mentioned that they weren't truly happy in their dream because they were away from the other, for a while.
Yeah, because again, their best days were with each other. Not like, again, yes, it was great for Nathan in basketball. It was great for Haley in singing, but if you don't have that person, like people always say, like Brooke said, you could have all the success, but if you don't, if you don't have that person that you truly love, then what do you have? And I have heard successful people say that. I've heard actors say it. I have heard, musicians sing it or say it. It's like when you look at them, it's like when they finally get married, or they are in a long-term relationship, you're like, wow, they're so much happier now. And now these are the best days ever. But, so I don't agree with whatever your hobby is or your job should be your best days. I think having that love of your life should be your best day. Because again, anything can happen to them and then you won't have your best days.
And the therapist asked if they could go back, would they do things differently? And they said they would. So she says maybe they can. And then Haley and Nathan hold hands. And then, Payne said that she wishes she could change some things too in the last couple of months. And, if she told Lucas that, or she told Lucas that if he loved his fiance, then she learned to be okay with that. She wants him to be happy. And then when he didn't marry her, she felt terrible for Lindsey and for him. And, she just sits in her office in silence and hears echoes of who they used to be. And she wishes for patience, grace, and strength to let him be happy. And mostly she prays for the strength to not make his life worse because of what she wants. And that's the toughest part, letting go. And then Jamie is at school doing show and tell with his, bunny Chester. And Jamie says his bunny is his best friend, but Nanny Kira used to be his best friend until she put stuff in his hair and took him away. And now it's a tie between Uncle Skills, Aunt Brooke, and Chester, and his grandpa Dan, who brought him home. And then Dan's still talking to his case manager, and he, it's pointing out the scar in his hand, and says he got it from helping his son Nathan because Dan was important to him.
It was funny. Goes, see, it's my family's important. It's like, oh my god.
And the case manager points out that he was in prison for killing his own brother.
And he said, I changed. He goes, I've changed, and he goes, people don't change. He said, take it from me, people in here that walk through these doors walk right back into prison. And then Dan's like, not me. And then he goes, yeah, like, we'll see about that. It was funny.
Yeah.
I love how he wasn't taking Dan's crap. Dan always tries to like sucker people in. He's just like, no.
Yeah. And then tells them to keep the money and donate it to charity.
Yeah, and then walks out without signing, like I said. So now he can try to get $3,000 back from him.
And then Brooke is looking at a picture of her and Jamie when she asked the interviewer, it wasn't a good talk, was it? And is she going to recommend her? And the interviewer says she's not. She's, very young and single, and she can't remember another case when an applicant's mother made, so that she was a terrible candidate. So Brooke says, too bad nobody interviewed her mom before she had a kid. And the interviewer just says, sorry, she can't help her. And, Brooke says she's not sorry, but she should be. And then she goes on to say about, when she wanted to start her own company, and basically her mother said that she couldn't do it. She wasn't good enough. Her chances are 1 out of a million. And, she is that one, unlike what her mother said. And she would be a great mother to whatever child, no matter what their age, race, or sex is. She could help them find, what makes them special. And if she can't see it and, see that, then that's wrong. She's wrong, just like her mother. Why doesn't she write that down? And the woman just looks at her for a while and then walks out. Yeah.
She don't care.
And then back in the boat, Lily asks, Lucas where their mom is, and he says,
I know. So when she came out, I was like, yay! At least we get Lily, like for a little bit, because this is kind of the end. Yeah.
And then Lily said that she had a dream about their dad, or not their dad, her dad, and Lucas was there too, and basically Keith said that everything was going to be okay. And then we segue to Peyton saying she knows everything's gonna be okay. Some days are just messy. And Max brings up Peyton, or not Peyton, Mia, and how she's doing really well thanks to Peyton, but Peyton doesn't really take too much credit for it. But she did change her life, and that's what she came here to do, to change the next artist and the one after that. And maybe her own life at the same time. And she just needs patience, And then basically he tells Payne just to go in her car and drive, with the music on and just cruise. And maybe she'll find somewhere to heal that heart of hers. And then the therapist tells Haley and Nathan to end the session like they always do by giving each other compliments. So Nathan goes first about, Haley goes on to say Nathan, that she just loves that he's there for her every week without fail, making himself more accountable for his mistakes and how he's protective over her and Jamie. And even the shirt that he's wearing, the way that he wears it. But then the timer goes off before,
I liked when she was like, I'm not that great at taking compliments, which is funny because like I am not either. Are you?
Yeah, it depends, yeah. And then, so they'll just be picking up next week. And then in New York, Lindsey walks into her office to see Lucas there.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives her the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he wasn't gonna publish it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said that he kind of has to because of his deal and everything.
Yeah.
And then but then he said, he goes, okay, fine, but only if you are the editor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my God. And then he said, then he's talking about how it's gonna be like late nights and everything, and as if we were married. I'm like, oh my God, you and this whole marriage thing.
Yeah, well, he was just saying what she said when they first started working together. Yeah,
I know, but my thing is, if the person ran out of your wedding, hasn't spoke to you in a month, you're gonna say that, like
right,
bring up the marriage joke. Like I wouldn't, because it's like it's a little touchy to say to the person that ran out.
Yeah. And basically just told her that he's not giving up on them, and she'll wake up and realize that they're supposed to be together too.
No, one day he'll wake up and realize she wasn't the one.
And then, Lindsey says she'll edit the book because she believes in him, but they can't be together. And,
thank God she said that.
But he's still, insistent that that's not true. Yeah. That they will be together, and that basically he just be waiting for her, And then Payne gets in her car and takes the for sale sign off and drives like Max said. And then Brooke goes to pick up Jamie from school, watching the other kids, and she hugs him while she's upset after learning she can adopt.
So yeah, because like she was all emotional and everything. Yeah, she should be, because she was just told she,
can adopt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was happy that she had Jamie, because honestly, like when you are in a vulnerable state, like to have your niece, nephew, godchild, whoever it is, like it's always nice to like, hug them and hold them and play with them, because it's like, they're what's going to help you get through it. Even though some people don't agree, but I do.
I don't know anybody who wouldn't, but yeah.
Well, there are some people that, if they don't like kids, they might.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Dan is actually watching them from a distance too.
Which is creepy.
And then, like I said, he's just kind of showing nanny traits or Carrie traits here. But Nathan then mentions, the house is quiet without Jamie after they get home, and he says this with Brooke, baby steps.
Yep.
And he acts like she's been sleeping.
Yeah, so I did like how he said that Jamie can sleep with him, but then he goes on to say the things that he likes about her. That she saved his life, that she's also sexy as hell. And then that's when she decides to finally actually get him back.
Yeah, he mentioned her kindness too.
Then they start making out, and obviously they're going to sleep together.
And then Payne's driving her car.
But here's the thing. I like that scene because it's like, finally, like, I hated the Nene and Carrie stuff. And I'm like, finally, my favorite couple on the show can finally be happy again. I hate when they are breaking up and everything. I hate it. Like, we can move on.
Yeah. And then Payne is driving her car and narrating, and then Lucas gets home and he takes over the narration. And Lindsey picks up his manuscript, and then Payne stops your car, seeing a flashback of young Lucas in his sweatshirt and basketball, playing basketball, like when they first saw each other in the pilot, and then looks at the empty road in front of her and then takes off. And then Brooke is babysitting Jamie for the night and is playing with him at her house. And Haley's playing the piano while Nathan plays catch with himself in the basketball by tossing it into the air and catching it. And then he takes over the narration, and Haley finishes it, and they smile at each other.
So did you realize what the narration was?
I didn't go into detail, but it was like, wasn't it basically like in my notes, I didn't go into detail. Wasn't it about like finding something that makes you happy, like your wish or something?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is what's going to be in the finale.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it sounded familiar.
And they do it a couple more times with the exact same writing. This whole speech narration is going to happen at least one more time. I think it's a couple more times, though.
Okay. Yeah, I did like how all four of them kind of took turns doing it too.
I mean, in the finale they do it too, but this is the first time we've heard it though, right? It's
Pretty
weird.
Sure. Maybe,
well, and I'm surprised that they didn't kind of put it in the first couple seasons, given how it's going to be the ending of the show.
Maybe
they put it in season 5.
Yeah, they just probably didn't come up with it until now, maybe.
Yeah, and then they liked it so much they put it in the finale. So for me, the high was finally having Nathan and Haley back together. I love that scene. My low was seeing that Brooke could not adopt. I didn't like that. I did not like that lady. I didn't like that. One person can change her story.
Right.
I didn't like it. What about you?
Yeah, mine were basically the same too.
Because I really didn't care about Lucas trying to get Lindsey back. Or Peyton talking to Max. I really didn't care about those stories.
Right.
So for me, I'm gonna give it a 7. What about you?
Yeah, a lot didn't really happen. So like a 7.5.
Yeah, I feel like the stuff we talked about, what we felt should have been in this episode, which would have brought some more maybe drama and like at least somewhat of like what's going on. I think that might have made it an 8. Because it would have been more than just what was in here.
Right.
And then for me, the best. Let's see here. Well, the worst was the lady that was the adoption agency lady. Because she listened to one person. So to me, she was the worst. And then the best, I am going to go with Andy.
Yeah.
Because hopefully Lucas can move on. Stop annoying us.
Yeah. And then I put for the best was the therapist, just because she was trying to help Haley and Nathan move on from Carrie and the kidnapping situation, and help them find basically their selves again after being parents and husband and wife for so long. And then the worst is Victoria, because she messed everything up for Brooke as usual. And yeah, she had no business giving that woman like any info like that about Brooke and her past when she was a teenager versus who she is now as a person. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you should interview like 5 people and see, like, because there's one that may be a negative, but if like 4 or 5 other people say all these good things about somebody, you should probably listen to them.
Yeah, I feel like
you should never base it off of one person.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if this is true, it might be something along similar, but maybe for these kind of programs too for adoption, the person would need recommendation letters anyhow, at least, that many to turn in
Yeah,
beforehand.
so they can base it off of them.
Yeah.
That's why, and I feel like you would pick the people so that you look good, but you would never pick Victoria,
Mm-hmm.
who hates you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know how like legally they could really do that. Like talk to somebody that you could be estranged for obvious reasons, like Lucas and Dan. Like
Mm-hmm.
what because they have the same name that, or same last name, that they would call for Lucas on behalf of Lucas when he doesn't, like, he has no relationship with Dan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how can they do
Mm-hmm.
that when you don't even know the story?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're like legally how they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for story reasons we have to make it, drama.
Right.
And then what's next episode?
Episode 14, what do you come home to? So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, like Brooke, because her house is empty, without a kid. Nathan and Haley fully being a couple again at home,
Well,
So,
I think now more than anything, Peyton has to stay with Brooke just because
mhm.
she's lonely.
Yeah, and Lucas without Lindsey. So, yeah, it's kind of about everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.